Welcome back to the Sports Gazette studio, and it's full time in the Wales versus Iran game. The final score was 2-0, with Iran scoring 2 goals deep into injury time to snatch the 3 points and break Welsh's hearts. I'm joined today by Sports Gazette analyst Kieran Roy. So, what do you make of the game?
Well, heartbreak for Wales, but you can't say Iran didn't deserve it with that second half performance. Obviously, they were completely on top throughout the second half, hit the post twice. Wayne Hennessy made a great save, but his red card really changed the game for Wales. They were completely out of it by that point. And yeah, the 2 late goals by Iran, well hit the first one, and the second one, obviously a counter-attack when Wales were throwing everyone forward. But yeah, a huge disappointment for Wales, but I would say a deserved performance, a deserved win by Iran.
So, what do you think of the Wayne Hennessy red card in the 86th minute?
I honestly don't know what on earth he was thinking. He's rushed out. He's got a hot head, and he's rushed out to get to a ball that really he was never going to make. And he's absolutely taken out the Iran forwards. And from there, there's only one outcome. Obviously, the ref initially gave a yellow card, which was absolutely bizarre to me, as it was one of the clearest red cards I think you'll ever see in football. But yeah, VAR called him up on it. He goes to the board, and the red card comes out. There was no other outcome really for the referee, and yeah, completely destroyed Wales' chances going forward, and ultimately cost them in the end.
So, with Wales midfield all over the place in the second half, do you think their substitutions made any difference, with obviously Harry Wilson coming off? And
the changes, I have to say, they were bizarre, because in the first half, although Wales didn't create much chances, they were the team on top. When Connor Roberts and Harry Wilson came off, and Brennan Johnson and Daniel James came on, Wales completely lost control of the game. Iran were all over them, attacking, and Wales just giving the ball away every time they went forward. Their midfield, as you mentioned, was so poor, almost non-existent, allowing Iran to just constantly go forwards and attack the Welsh goal. Joe Allen came on in around the 75th minute and kind of shored up that midfield. But yeah, the red card to Wayne Hennessy completely destroyed any control of the game that Wales had. But yeah, I think the substitutions, I think they were the wrong decisions.
Also, do you think that their heads also, after that first goal went in, their heads just dropped completely?
Well, I think at that point, it's very late in the game, 95th minute or 98th minute, whenever that first goal went in. But yeah, they were just throwing everything they could forward, but again, not really creating anything of merit. Gareth Bale, he is the superstar in that Wales team, but he had a really poor performance today, and I think he'll be disappointed with himself. But yeah, at that point, they had to throw everything forwards, and that made the second goal. It was always going to come when Wales were just pushing forwards.
Do you think that Iran deserved the win today as well?
Definitely. That second half performance from Iran is an absolutely unreal performance. It's great to see how far they've come since that 6-2 battering by England in the opening game, which was, they were so poor in that game, and England really tore them apart. But today they were composed. Their midfield looked a lot stronger. Going forwards, they created more chances. Honestly, it could have been 2-0 before the red cards, if with a bit of luck on their side. But yeah, they completely deserved the win. Wales would be immensely disappointed. I think this was a must-win game for them, and they've thrown it away in the last minute. They're not even coming away with a point, and now they go into the England game having to win, which, I mean, based off today's performance, isn't looking likely.
So you definitely don't think they'll win?
I don't think well, based off this game, Wales could turn it around, and obviously against England, they're going to be more up for it. But I think England will have far too much for them, because England dispatched this Iran team, and Iran were the better side today against Wales. So if the trend follows, England should comfortably beat Wales. But it's football, so you never know.
Yeah, exactly. So what does this result mean for Group B?
Well, England have the chance to effectively secure top of the group tonight if they beat the US. I mean, if Iran score 6 or 7 against the USA in the last game, then perhaps they could crawl claw back that goal difference that is sorely lacking after the England game. But yeah, I think England will be more up for the game tonight, knowing that they can secure qualification. I think for the USA, they're probably disappointed that Iran scored in the final moments of the game, because if the US had come away with a draw tonight and Iran had drawn, that would put the USA in great position to qualify. But I think the US have a bit of a free hit tonight going up against England. The game that's going to matter for them is the Iran game. And that last game, Iran versus the USA, is going to be a crucial game of football, because obviously there's all the political background in that game, but qualification is going to be relying on that game, bar a Welsh miracle. So yeah, I think this has made Group B a much more interesting group than we might have thought it had been before this game.
Oh, that's good to hear, to be fair.
Yeah, and going into the US-England game tonight, yeah, as I mentioned, qualification is on the line for England. They could secure top of the group. Mathematically not impossible that Iran could catch up, but in all likelihood it would secure top of the group if they beat the USA tonight. For the US, they are on 1 point after their draw with Wales in the first game, and they will be looking to cause what you might call an upset. Well, joining me today are two Sports Gazette journalists. We have our English correspondent, George Yates, joined by Jackson Fuller, our American correspondent. And George, I just want to come to you. Do you think England should make any changes in their starting lineup after the last performance against Iran?
No, I don't think they should. I mean, the midfield works really well. Declan Rice is that pivot, absolutely fantastic defensively. Jude Bellingham was just absolutely fantastic as well. Just such a physical presence. And Mason Mount really working well with the forward line, so I don't think there should be any changes in formation as well as the starting 11 at all.
So coming to you, Jackson, overall, what's like the overall mood in the States coming to the England game?
I think the mood's a lot brighter after the Wales-Iran match. Of course, like Kieran mentioned, we would have preferred a 0-0 draw, but Iran winning really puts the control in our own destiny with a victory against Iran on the final match day. So tonight is an opportunity to go out and try and shock the world. I think USA fans are confident they can be competitive and optimistic they can pull a surprise, but even a loss tonight really doesn't deter our chances of qualification for the round of 16 too much.
George, back to you. Do you think that today's result will change anything for tonight's game?
From an English point of view, not really. I just want to see them strongest 11, play to win. Let's secure that top spot. And then once the Wales game happens on the Tuesday, we'll only need a point to secure top place qualification. So for me, it doesn't really change much, the game today.
So Jackson, how can the US pull off the upset?
I think it's going to come down to that midfield. Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and Yunus Musa were so good in the first half against Wales. If they can make that performance last 90 minutes this time, they'll have a chance. They'll have to find a way to nick a goal. I think the English defense, while there are question marks with Harry Maguire and John Stones, I think there's a lot of question marks as well in the U.S. attack. So it'll be an interesting matchup between those two sides. But if the USA midfield can play up to their potential, they'll be in it till the very end.
Thank you very much, guys. So coming forward from that, yeah, it should be a great game tonight kicking off at 7 p.m. England versus the USA. It's not one to miss. But the other big game coming up this weekend, Germany versus Spain. Obviously, Germany, a really, truly disappointing result in the week, losing 2-1 to Japan. They need to win this game tonight to have any chance of qualifying, really, because a loss to Spain would put qualification almost beyond possibility. As for Spain, coming off the back of a demolition of Costa Rica, you might say, 7-0. A really impressive performance by a team that had a few doubters about their attacking prowess, but they put those doubters to rest. And we are joined today by two other Sports Gazette journalists, Adriana and Joaquin. They are German and Spain, and we will be talking to them.
So, Adriana, coming to you, what are the expectations that Germany has for the national team?
Well, Germany is in crisis mode at the moment. It's a very difficult situation for them. Their plan was to win their first game against Japan and then don't have as much pressure as they go against Spain. But now this has changed and they now have to win against Spain. They don't want to just take the draw. They want to go for the win. So I think the key moment for them will be actually the mindset of the players, because for the Japan game, you could see that after the first game they were just shutting down and not trying for another goal.
Joaquin, coming to you now. How do you think the Spanish attack will live up to expectations following that 7-0 win tonight? Or not tonight, sorry, on Sunday.
Well, I think Spain will have their chances, to be honest. Costa Rica, in the last game, they were so bad. They were playing with a 5-4-1 formation, just looking for a draw or for having a goal in a different situation. But to be honest, I didn't expect that performance from Spain in the attack, with Marco Asensio being the striker that Spain was looking for in the last few years. We will see what game we will watch on Sunday against a team who will try to dominate the game, because they have to win to get to the next phase.
So Adriana, how do you think the lineup is going to change compared to Japan?
Well, I think Germany definitely has to do something in the defense, because there was not a good communication when Japan scored. I think especially with the Antonio Rüdiger and Kevin Schlotterbeck, the communication has to get better, but I think most probably the change will be on the right side of the defense. Maybe Joshua Kimmich could rotate into the defense, or maybe Thilo Kehrer could come back into the starting 11. On the other side, it will be interesting to see if Leroy Sané can make it back after a knee injury. He did some individual training, but we have to see if he will be back in the squad.
Joaquin, obviously playing a more difficult opponent on Sunday than you previously faced in Costa Rica. Who are the German players that you as a Spanish fan are wary of?
Well, to be honest, I'm scared about Musiala. I think he's the key player along with Gundogan. They will try to dominate the possession and the midfield. And we have also in the German squad very talented players, for example, like Gnabry and Havertz. But in my opinion, I think Müller will have a really good role to do in the game. I think he's also a key player because he gets all like a fine wine does. So we will see. We will see if Spain is able to at least dominate the game and have a great result, just to secure the first podium of the group.
Well, two great fixtures to look forward to coming up in the World Cup, and you can catch previews and match reports on the Sports Gazette website. We are covering every single game of the World Cup, and yeah, two great games coming up: England versus the USA and Spain versus Germany.
So that's all we have time for today at the Sports Gazette news of the roundup of the game, games and the Wales versus Iran. See you next time.